Think about the exact words that we are using. There is this vortex that you are allowing or resisting. And if you're allowing it, it's the path of least resistance. So the path of least resistance is whatever it takes not to confront, you see. We really mean that when we say bring back the fist. Now, there are a lot of people even in this room that say, but come on, don't we need to stand up for ourselves? Won't we be a doormat? And we want you to understand that if you're all outside the vortex and inside the vortex is off the table of discussion and you want to win, then you better get big and strong and you better be able to beat them all up. And that's the game you play in. Let's call it the out of the vortex game, where brute force and good debate is really where it's at. But one who's in alignment is millions of times more powerful than those who are not. So if you make the decision that you want to connect with your true power, that you want to connect with who you really are, and further, you can't be joyful unless you do that, then it makes you willing to just let those things go by the wayside while you collect yourself inside the vortex. There are so many people who will convince you that you owe them an explanation. You owe them an explanation. But they don't just mean that. They mean you owe me the explanation that I want to hear. That's what and I'm not going to let you go until you say what I want to hear from you. And so what are your options? In other words, do you want to deny who you are? And this is really a big issue. It's the reason it runs so deep within so many of you, because the day you were born, you had a guidance system that people on the planet around you, mostly outside the vortex already, were saying to you, in order for me to feel good, you need to do these things. And so right away, almost all children look to their parents and teachers, and when they're smiling, then that's good, and when they're frowning, then that's bad. In other words, and they give up their own relationship to their own vortex by letting themselves try to please this one and this one and this one and this one. But then the longer you live, the more you realize that they're all fickle and they all want different things from you, and it just drives you crazy. In other words, the longer you live, the more you realize that something is missing if you're not in alignment with who you are. So we're just suggesting in as strong a way as we can that when you finally get it, that you're not going to feel good unless you're in alignment with who you are. But we know it's a big price to pay. I have to pay the price of joy in order to find my power. That's really what we're talking about. You have to pay the price of consistent joy and happiness and appreciation and alignment in order to really come into your true power. When you are in your true power, then it's not difficult for your life to go well for you, because first of all, law of attraction's not matching you up with things that don't match it. And in your desire to teach, and that's what happens to so many of you, you're a teacher, and so students come. And when students come, lots of teaching goes on. In other words, we don't know, in the conversation that we were just offering about Esther hanging up, we would not begin to say that the other person was wrong, or that the benefit of the whole thing was all Esther's doing. In other words, we so want everyone to understand that when there is a problem that is formulating, there is a solution that is formulating too. And what makes you want to sort of break away from those that are still beating the drum of the problem is that you're ready to move on to the solution, and often they're not. And you just can't move on to the solution while you're beating the drum of the problem. You have to let it go. Here is the important thing to understand about this vortex. This vortex is vibrational. And the vortex, as you stand outside of it, is not a place that you can see yet, or hear yet, or smell yet, or taste yet, or touch yet, because it has not evolved vibrationally to the point of that revelation to you. But it has something that you can feel. The key to your vortex is the way you feel. So as you think about your lover and you feel the elation of that, you are offering no resistance. As you think about the absence of your lover and you feel that discord, that means you are discordant to your vortex. Do you hear what we're getting at? In other words, the key to your vortex is the emotion. You can feel your way into your vortex. You feel your way in. You feel your way in. But if you need to see it and smell it and hear it and taste it and touch it before you allow yourself to feel better, you slow yourself way, 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 way down. And that's where the word expectation comes in. If you can train yourself to positive expectation, to feeling good without needing the manifestation first, now you are the creator that you were born to be. Using the power of your mind and the glorious benefit of your emotional guidance system to figure out that relationship between the two vibrational aspects of you. Because who you are in this vortex is a huge vibrational rhythm. And who you are in your physical body is also a vibrational rhythm. And when doubt meets desire, it doesn't meet very well, and you feel disappointment. When desire meets hope, you're right on the edge of your vortex, and the vortex will take you right in and show you something that will make a believer out of you. Now, we want you to feel this vortex, and we know, talking to physical friends who are used to seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching about this vortex that you can't see and hear and smell and taste and touch, we know it borders on what you want to call fairy tales, but we've seen your other books and you're good with fairy tales. In other words, anyone who's trying to explain the non-physical realm to physical beings. In other words, you want to translate everything back into physical terms, and we want to help you to understand that you are the leading edge of everything that we are. You're out here as the extension of source energy. And when you stand here outside the vortex and demand that you see the culmination of what you want before you adjust your vibration, you are asking the impossible, because law of attraction is consistent always. Deliberate creating means you know you're expanding and you're making an effort to go with it. And when you do, life is full and fast and fun and delicious and invigorating. You feel the passion of your being flowing through you because you feel the fullness of who you are focused in you. To see the world through the eyes of source, to live in this physical body in sync with the energy of who you are, and feel source flowing through you, having the conversation in the elevator, having the conversation in the restaurant, having the conversation with your children or grandchildren, having a conversation with your lover. When you are in tune with the source that is you, and you are letting the whole of you be present in this moment, that is deliberate creation, and that is the art of allowing, and that is who you were born to be. Esther said at some point along the scenario, maybe we should never ask for nice things. Maybe we should just never have nice things. Then when they drop it, we'd say, no problem, it's made out of plywood, it doesn't matter, I can make another one tomorrow. And Jerry said, I don't think that's what Abraham's going for here. I don't think that the secret to a happy life is holding back on your desires. You can't. You can't. Life is going to insist that you expand. The whole universe, everything that you are about, the core of the energy that is you, the very reason that you came into this body, into this glorious contrasting experience, it all exists for the joyous, inevitable, eternal expansion. You cannot hold it back. But when you hold yourself back with contradictory thoughts to the expansion, you feel the discord, and then sometimes you say, I think I shouldn't want so much because I want things I can't figure out how to have. And that's really what we want to talk about here today, because we want you to let go of the manifestation part of it just for a little while and take emotional journeys. Most people who want more money, or who want a better relationship, or who want a better job, or who want a better car, or who want a better life, most people who want that want it with a flawed premise basis. They want it because they think, what I've got doesn't please me when I observe it, so if I could create something better, then I could observe that and I would be pleased. So give it to me, and then I'll have a pleasing response to what has been given. And we say, it doesn't work that way. You have to find the vibrational attitude in order to stop the resistance, in order to allow the manifestational receiving of what's already in your vortex. You have to find the vibration first. In other words, you have to have an emotional journey. As you're feeling appreciation for Jerry and Esther, and we do as well, we just want to explain to you the rather simple thing that they achieved. Through meditation, they released resistance and went into the vortex even before we were describing it as such, where Esther was able to receive full understanding of what we know. So when you think about it, as you are living some of step one as a collective consciousness, putting all kinds of things, solutions and answers into your vortex, but most not able to find the answers because they are still beating the drum outside the vortex. So through meditation, someone like Esther, not carrying around big grudges and not carrying around big concerns, really feeling pretty good, just meditated herself right into alignment, right into vibrational alignment with all of the answers to all of the questions and all of the solutions to all of the problems. So what we were saying to you is she's not different from you. In other words, when you find some reason to feel good and you get into the vortex, once inside, once you practice the vibration of it, you begin to notice that as quickly as your life presents to you a question, it has presented the answer right there simultaneously. And the closer you are to your vortex, the more real-time life you begin living. Have you had the experience of driving in your vehicle and you can feel that that driver ahead of you is going to do something erratic? And so you're ready for it. You are not surprised by it all. In fact, sometimes you move out of the way of it before it even becomes a problem because you are so living such real time. Your questions and answers, your problems and solutions are so vibrationally close to one another that you are then living this exciting, joyous, adventurous life that you have come forth to live. None of you intended to ever let there be such a big gap between your awareness of the problem and your awareness of the solution. You intended to live a more aligned life experience. And so Esther and Jerry are appreciating what you are offering here. And we are appreciating all of you for your step one experience, which is putting the solution there. We just don't want you to make this experience seem like something that is so out of the ordinary, because while it is wonderful that Esther is tuned to the frequency of Abraham so that she can find words to express our knowing, and while we know that sometimes if you are outside the vortex, you can't hear the words yourself, really, if you are too far away, you can't hear them even when they are being expressed. So anything that you're getting from this is because of your vibrational proximity to it. And the credit is all yours. Because as you softly, not in a harsh way and not in a determined way, but in a soft, playful way, as you acknowledge the existence of your vortex and you reach for feelings that feel good while you are there, as you train yourself by practicing the inside the vortex feeling more and more and more, what will begin to happen to you is that more things that make it easier to be there and stay there begin coming to you. More fun friends, more rendezvousing with interesting books and ideas on television, more cooperation from the universe, more opportunities to feel good, more clarity, more stamina, more vitality, more humor, more fun, more money, more of the things that you've been asking for will show themselves to you in very real terms. And you will find yourself again and again making the correlation between what's gone on here in this gathering and what's happening in your life experience. And you can move forward saying to yourself and to anyone else who you think is ready to hear you, I now understand that I am a vibrational being. And I now understand that through the living of this life in this magnificent physical body, I've carved out something that is so much more. And I can feel the power of source energy and all that is standing in readiness to welcome me into vibrational alignment, complete alignment with what I've carved out. And the celebration just goes on and on and on as I'm catching up with the expansion that life has helped me to carve out. And every time I'm in the mode of reaching, I'm happy. And every time I'm in the mode of catching up, I'm happy. The problem is as meaningful to me as the solution because it's all part of the expansion, the joyous expansion that I've come here to live and that I am now consciously, deliberately living. We have enjoyed this immensely. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain blissfully and